Taking the leap from being a gym employee to becoming an independent personal trainer is a really big decision. So, if you're contemplating whether you ought to do that or not, I want to help you in making that choice and being confident in the decision that you choose for that. And that is the focus of today's episodes. I'm going to be sharing 7 signs, like 7 reasons that this might be the time to make that leap and that the gym is no longer a fit for you. So, welcome to the Solo Trainer Podcast. This podcast is for personal trainer solopreneurs, for those that are thinking about the leap or already have. And here you're going to get real stories, expert advice, and coaching strategies to help you create a thriving business. I'm your host. I am Jen Gerasimus. It was 9 years ago, this time 9 years ago, that I made my decision to leave the gym and go work for myself. In fact, it was exactly this time frame because this past week I was getting emails that letting me know that my subscription for my business domain and my business email were about to come up, that I was going to be, getting a new subscription for the year. And so starting at the gym, it's a great place to start. It really is. I actually encourage people when they're starting out on their own as a personal trainer to start working at a gym if they're able to, if that really works in their situation. If they're okay with that, then some people might want to be first. I just want to go on my own right away based on things, and that's fine. But otherwise, I do encourage people to actually start working at a gym. When you're working at a gym, it gives you lots of learning opportunities, not only to be around other trainers and to hone your skills and programming, but that collaboration with your teammates, that community, the energy that can be at the gym. You also have the opportunities of like how to sell your services, of learning about that. That all of those pieces can really help carry over when you go to start your own business. But for like a lot of us, at some point, we were excited. We started at the gym. That's where we wanted to start. Honestly, we didn't know we had another option. We just seemed like that seemed the obvious place to go. But there can end up being some sort of shift. So if you're listening, that's probably you. You're thinking as like, this gym situation is not for me anymore. And, I need to look at going on my own. And, for some people, the gym is a great fit. It is where they thrive, and being by themselves is not really, what they're interested in. And then there's those of us that are like, actually, I think working for myself is really the better thing. And there's not one that's better than the other. It's just what is actually better for you. So as you ponder whether you're leaving or not, you're trying to consider that. I want you to listen through these 7 signs, these 7 reasons, see if they kind of sound exactly kind of how you feel. If most of them do, then this might be a good indication that it is time to take that leap. So before I dive into these 7 signs, if you haven't already, I want you to be sure to grab the freebie that I have on the Solo Trainer website, and that is the Solo Trainer guidebook and checklist. It is everything that I wish I knew I had known about for getting started and having a business. There's a lot to having a business, and it can be kind of overwhelming and confusing, but this guidebook will help give you all the steps you need to get started in your business, from, even the legal, financial, how to run it, how to start it, how to manage it, all those. And even if you've already started your business, this can be a really great resource. I was just talking with a trainer who has had her business for 11 years, and she doesn't quite have the organizational stuff down that she needs to, as far as, tracking her finances and things like that. So it's all in there. Be sure check in the show notes description and grab that freebie. Okay, here we go. Here are the 7 signs, 7 reasons it might be time to take that leap. Number 1 is you want more control over your schedule. When you work for a gym, you're working on somebody else's calendar, right? Someone else's has their expectations for how much you need to be in the gym, how much you need to be working. And outside of training your clients, you might also be responsible for other things like being on the floor or other kind of duties there at the gym. And that those your time can start feeling like it's not your own anymore, and you're working a lot of hours that you really don't want to, but you got to fulfill the expectations of who's employing you. But when you work for yourself, you are in control of all that. You get to decide when to train, you get to decide how many clients you get to take, and your schedule is your own. And, if you don't want to work weekends, if you don't want to work the evenings, then you can do that. You can take time off and not have to ask anybody about whether you can do that or not. Like, you're in charge of that. And that independence just can give you a better sort of that work-life balance. Now, you do have to be careful that you can easily ruin that if you're not careful on your boundaries as working for yourself. But otherwise, you can have a much better sort of work-life balance when you are working for yourself. All right, so that's reason number one. Reason number two, or sign number two, that it might be time to take the leap is you're tired of performance pressure and quotas. Gyms, they run on numbers. They are a business, okay? And often in gyms, you are required to meet some performance measures or quotas, and that can be in things like whether you sell so many training sessions a month, that you convert so many of your leads into clients, or how many sessions per week that you need to be taking. And that, after a while, sometimes those demands can take a toll and overshadow your joy of training. And you can maybe start to feel like you're being evaluated on these numbers, on the revenue you're bringing up, rather than the impact that you're making on your clients. When you go to work for yourself, that pressure shifts. Now, you need to set goals, and you'll have that need to help drive your business forward, but you get to decide what that looks like. You get to decide how much money you want to make per month, how many clients you ideally want to have, and you can just create metrics that align better with your values, that seem more meaningful and realistic to you. And so your motivation becomes more internal when you're working for yourself, as opposed to being more, the motivations imposed upon you because of a gym's expectations. Okay, so for sign number three, reason number three you might want to leave is that you want to earn more and be paid what you're worth. At a gym, you only get to take home a small percentage of what the client is paying the gym. Sometimes it's really hard for trainers to understand why we only get a small percentage. And we can sort of feel like that we should deserve more. And I'm not saying we don't deserve more. We do. But I also need to understand this gym is a business. It is a business. They have their own business responsibilities that they have to take care of. And so when I understood business finances better, once I go out on my own, I better understood why the gym would only give me such a small percentage of their clients, because they have taxes and business expenses and all that they are responsible for. And plus, they're there to make money off of you. Like, they're there to make money off the personal training sessions. And so that dwindles down how much you actually get to take home. And so, like I said, you can, when you sort of see, like, I'm bringing so much more value than I feel like I'm getting, I'm worth so much more than I get paid. It can make you feel undervalued and frustrated a bit. And especially if you see another trainer who maybe doesn't have quite the experience that you have and all that, and y'all are about getting paid the same. But when you work for yourself, it's a whole different ball game. You can greatly increase your earning potential. You do not get to take home 100%. I'm going to dive into that just a bit more, but you should, when you're working for yourself, be taking home more than what the gym is, what you're getting from the gym, because why else would you go on your own, really? So when you leave the gym, when you're thinking about pricing, I want you to think about the fact, because I want to get into business finances here a little bit so you understand this aspect, especially for pricing yourself, for those that are wondering how to do it or if you're doing it right. I want you to still feel like you're being paid what you're worth when you're independent, because trainers can sort of underrate themselves because maybe they don't fully understand business finances. Well, when you leave the gym, you shouldn't, there's no reason for you not to charge as much per session as the gym is charging, if not more, especially if you've got a certain specialty or expertise and that kind of thing. And then if you're traveling to see clients, it is such a convenience for them to go to you, for you to go to them, and you need to be charging more for that. So that kind of helps you, like, okay, here's my level of what I need to be charging, but also to understand what you really get to take home. So there are taxes that have to come out of your business. There are operating expenses, and there's also things that such as you might want to do for profit or be able to put into investment and stuff like that. So kind of ideally, you're really only taking home in your pocket to help, your daily cost of living is probably about half. That is more than what the percentage that you're going to be getting, right, from the gym for what your clients are paying at the gym. So your income potential is going to rise because of that, and you're not feel like you're giving away. Most of the revenue that's given in isn't given away, but you have to be careful about your pricing. Just have to say that. So being working for yourself, you are able to make more and really feel like you're getting paid what you're worth. All right. Number 4, reason number 4, sign number 4 that you want to, about leaving to go on your own, is that you want full autonomy over programming and coaching. In a gym setting, there's certain guidelines that you might need to go by, and systems and processes for programming that's required by the gym you work for. And that's fine. That's fine. I think gyms ought to actually, in some ways, have some expectations, requirements on programming, and not trainers not having a program, period, is basically what I'm trying to say. So a lot of times if you're working at a gym that has specific programming guidelines, you can feel very restricted by that, and that it can inhibit your ability to be able to serve some of your clients, the clientele you really want to serve. And because that if you did a different approach, you could actually, like I said, you could serve your clients better. But when you go independent, you have complete autonomy on how you coach your clients, right? So you can train them in whatever style or whatever method that you feel works best for you and for them and what they're looking for. And you don't have to have any preset formulas that you have to deal with. And that often can help create extra enthusiasm. And also, like, it just helps make your business, especially if you are known for a particular demographic that you help and you're programming specific just for them. You kind of become that known guru. So working for yourself is going to allow you to have that full autonomy over your programming, over your coaching, that you may not be getting in that gym setting. So number 5, sign that about you may want to leave is you want more growth and long-term opportunity. So for many trainers, when you're working in a gym, your career ladder is kind of short. It's sort of like gym trainer, and then it's like manager, and that's it. And that's fine. If that's what you want to be, you want to be a manager, you want to help run a team, I think that's great. I did it for a bit. There was great aspects that I enjoyed about it. And then eventually it just did not work for me in general. It's just too time consuming. That's a whole other story. Anyway, so, and then some gyms do have the opportunity where you could be an educational trainer if they have some educational opportunities in there, but that's like kind of about it. And so if you're sort of limited on, your coaching, your growth in you as a trainer, it's either I'm a 4 trainer training the clients that come in here, or I'm a manager, or maybe I do the educational thing. But when you work for yourself, you completely remove any kind of obstacles about that. And you can expand your services and what you do to whatever you want. So it's not limited to just one-on-one. You could be doing group. You could be doing online. You can be doing offerings that include maybe nutrition, health, or wellness coaching if you are certified in that. And so really, your options of being able to grow or long-term growth, because then you can, sometimes we can get burnt out just one-on-one training and we need some other avenues. Well, you can go create that and do that because it's your business and you can do that whatever you want. And that helps you greater build something that lasts, versus getting like burnout with just the one-on-one type clients. So you couldn't do that in a gym. So reason number 6 that you might want to leave the gym, or signs that you're thinking about, is that you want a business that reflects your values and your vision. Every gym has its own brand and its own culture. It has its own target market audience and that. And while that can be really helpful early in your career, but as you grow, you sort of realize this gym actually doesn't fit me, who I am. And the clients that it attracts aren't really my ideal clients that I want to work with. And so, yeah, the environment's not really fitting your personality. And you're kind of feel like you're in a box, and that's not a good fit for you. But when you go to work for yourself, you're obviously in control of your brand. You're in control of the experience that you provide and the mission. You can really build a business that's authentically you, and one that really attracts the clients that you enjoy working with. And that also allows you just to create deeper relationships with clients. I feel like when I left on my own, my client relationships greatly deepened. The relationships I had with my clients greatly, they're deeper than the ones that I had at the gym. And when your business aligns with your values, you just have so much more energy and satisfaction in your work. So now on to the final sign that you might want to be leaving the gym, to make that decision, is number 7. You're wanting your energy and joy back. And this is really the over encompassing thing, because burnout is the most common reason that trainers are thinking about leaving the gym or leaving the industry, really. And it's because of all those things I've just listed, the first 1 through 6, because of those, that tends to really zap your energy and your joy. I sort of mentioned it as I was going through that. And you can, again, this thing that you started into that you love doing suddenly is a drain. And you start to question, am I really still want to be a personal trainer? Because maybe if like the gym route is the only option that you have, and it's just not setting well with you anymore. So this was a huge one for me. This was the huge reason that I left to go on my own, was because I was so exhausted and had no energy and was losing my joy for training, losing my joy for a lot of things, because my life was so wrapped up. Like, I enjoyed training. I enjoyed working with trainers to help them build their business because I was a manager at the time. But it was all the other aspects of the gym, the requirements, all that just was so draining on me that it was like, I don't know if I can do this, and I can't do anymore. I've got to find some other alternative. What is that going to be? And so, eventually I made that decision to go work for myself. So working for yourself, again, you create all the boundaries that you want. You create the systems that support your well-being. You design a schedule that protects your energy. It causes you to create more joy again for this profession that you got into. Now, it doesn't mean that working for yourself isn't going to have a lot of hard work involved in it and stressful moments as you try to build your business and grow your business. And then you still have to be careful that you don't do things in your business that take out your joy, like you do hours you don't want to do and you're constantly in it responding to people. So if you don't, you've got to be careful about creating those boundaries. But when you're working for yourself, it's the night and day difference that I've had over the years of working for myself versus working for a gym. I just can't imagine going back. I could not imagine. I am so grateful that I made that leap and endured the journey of, of having a business and having a very successful one. And so you can then have a better sustainable long-term career in this that you really wanted to get into this, that you're passionate for when you're working for yourself and reducing that cause of burnout. All right, so there you go. Those are the 7 signs that you might want to leave the gym. And I'm just going to go through them again really quick. And number 1 is that you want more control over your schedule. Number 2 is you're tired of performance pressures and quotas. Number 3, you want to earn more and be paid what you're worth. Number 4, you want full autonomy over programming and coaching. Number 5, you want more growth and long-term opportunities. Number 6, you want a business that reflects your values and vision. And number 7, you want your energy and joy back. So if most of those things are speaking to you, it might be time to take the leap from the gym to working for yourself. Now, I want to just mention one thing real quickly as far as transitioning well. If you decide you're going to take the leap, then how you leave your current gym matters. And so you want to protect your reputation by staying professional and respectful in your choice to leave. Letting them, have a resignation letter of some sort that's short and gracious and thankful for what the time they've given you. Having that scheduled conversation with your manager about leaving and discuss how that transition is going to take place, and clearly communicate with your clients what's happening as much as you can disclose, and the next steps for them, that if you're leaving, that you have someone to take care of them. Because if your gym has a non-compete, you need to honor it. You need to honor if they have a non-compete. Clients will wait for you. I had a 90-day non-compete in the gym when I left, and day 91 I had a client reach out to me. So clients will wait, and it's respectful for you to honor if they have a non-compete as far as that goes. Because in our industry, why you really want to be able that you exit in a good way in our industry. I mean, relationships are everything, and you never have any idea when you might need to be reconnecting with a colleague again, your former manager, for one reason or another. It's not necessarily that you might go back. I mean, you could, but you don't want to burn any bridges while you're there. There can be other things. I'm reaching out to other colleagues now that I'm, for various reasons, I still keep connected with it. So you want to be sure that you transition well. So if you are really serious, like, okay, yeah, I'm needing to go on my own, but what in the world do I do about this? What I want you to do is grab the free guide I have on the website, the Solo Trainer guidebook and checklist. It is literally steps, actions to be taking for you to how to start your business, run your business, manage your business, grow your business, all those things, everything that I wish that I had, all those details to make sure that you're doing it right and doing it successfully. So it's again, it's free. Be sure to check the link in for it and get it and grab it, and it'll be in the show notes or descriptions. And the next episode, I'm going to be sharing things that I really really want to kind of make you aware of, or things I really want you to consider before starting to go on your own. I mean, if you already know I just need to go do it, then go by all means. Don't wait till this next episode comes out. But there's just some aspects that I want people to better understand about being a business owner, to really make sure it's a really good fit for you. Because I'd hate for you to take that leap, not fully understanding what it means to be working for yourself, and little like, what did I do? This is not what I just didn't realize, all this other pieces and aspects of it. And so I'm going to be sharing that in the next episode. Because I really want you to be successful and happy in whatever you decide to do. So if you're watching this on, YouTube, up here in this box, once that episode's available, you'll be able to click on it and view it. Otherwise, we'll try to have it there in the show notes once it's available. So, all right, guys, I'm excited for you, for those that are looking to go on your own. And here is to the great that awaits.